Happy Easter weekend, everybody. This is Crow the Sandler fan here, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review on a cult classic that I actually watched for the very first time back on Monday. This movie also happens to be one of the most cult classic movies from the 80s. It's one of those movies that are so bad, so good movies. I mean, the movie was pretty popular when it first came out. So in this movie review, I'm going to be reviewing the 1981 adult animated film Heavy Metal. So basically what the movie Heavy Metal is all about is where it's about this green orb who torches the girl with stories involving sci-fi and fantasy, but usually those stories have some humor in them, but mostly the movie's just science fiction comedy is what I could describe it. Basically it's just about the green orb showing the girl stories about sci-fi, like different stories that the green orb was in, and yeah, I think you get the idea if you watch the movie. So, what I think of Heavy Metal? Yeah, I can totally understand why this movie became a cult classic, and it still is to this day. I mean, it's been like 42 years since this movie came out. Holy cow. This movie still remains a cult classic. But there's a real and main reason why I wanted to watch and review it. I'll explain it in a minute. So, the characters in the movie are pretty good. It has some good voice acting. Some of the humor is pretty top notch, and I like the scoring too. And some of the writing is pretty good at its best. But in all seriousness, though, the main reason why I want to review this is because this movie features songs from popular classic rock bands. And as a lot of you may know, yes, I am indeed a huge classic rock fan. Basically, the movie features songs from popular rock bands such as Journey, Black Sabbath, Grand Funk Railroad, what else? Blue Oyster Cult, Black Sabbath, and even features a song by Stevie Nicks and Sammy Hagar. And even features a song by the band Cheap Trick. It's the main reason I wanted to review the movie is because since I'm a classic rock fan, it features, well, like I said, songs from classic rock bands, and I mean, if I'm a huge fan of classic rock, this is one of the movies I should be reviewing. There are some flaws in the movie, though, even though I mostly enjoyed the movie. The animation in the movie doesn't really hold up that well. Some of the animation can be a bit lazy sometimes, especially when it comes to hand-drawn comic book style-ish animation. Yeah, I mean, it might have had decent animation when the film first came out, but now the animation just isn't that great. Some of the writing can be a bit dull, and I mean, some of the characters are not really that likable, as some of the characters in the movie are not really that interesting to me. But most of the movie and all is pretty good. Great great music from classic rock bands. Pretty good stories. I'd say my favorite story in the movie is that one where there's this, how do I explain the story? Like, it's about this guy, who drives in the car, and, he would usually, pick up people who want to take a ride, but, if it's, anyone who's a bad guy, this guy driving the car has this, secret button in the car, and when you push it, it kills the person who's sitting in the back seat. Like, when you push it, it would cause them to melt, something like that. And then, of course, he takes this girl out for a ride, and he kind of does start a relationship with the girl. I'm not gonna get too much into that story, especially because I don't want to give away too much spoilers, but if you watch it, you'll totally understand what I mean. And throughout all the songs I like the movie, I gotta say, my favorite song in the movie's gotta be, Heavy Metal by Sammy Hagar. You know, it's kind of funny how I just mentioned that, because this movie is called Heavy Metal. And I do like Sammy Hagar, yes. Even though I morally prefer the David Lee Roth era of Van Halen, but I mean, I like some of Sammy Hagar's songs. He's a pretty decent solo artist. I love the song Heavy Metal. It's a really great song. It definitely fits the movie very well. But what could have been more necessary is that, because the movie's called Heavy Metal, I think it would have been more necessary if the song Heavy Metal by Sammy Hagar could be played in the beginning of the movie, since it kind of make more sense. But yeah, overall, there's pretty much nothing else I could say about Heavy Metal. I mean, if you like sci-fi movies, or if you're like a big classic rock fan, just like me, I personally recommend Heavy Metal. It's not too bad of a movie. Yeah, the animation doesn't really hold up, but it's kind of still worth watching nonetheless. So for my final rating of Heavy Metal, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 stars. A pretty good sci-fi animated movie from 1981. Thank you all for watching and listening to my review on Heavy Metal. Let me know in the comments what you think. This is me saying, peace out.